It's getting serious now. No more jokes about winter setup. I really need a proper winter aviary inside the aviary. My little baby budgie already started calling me for food, and that tiny voice just melts your heart. Our bond formed quickly, probably helped by an empty stomach, or well, an empty crop, but today I had to leave for a mountain hike, so my wife took over hand feeding duty for the first time ever. I left her all the instructions, but still, you know that feeling of worry. Will everything be alright? I guess this will be her first real bird parent experience. Here's a tip on how to train your budgie. Every time you feed him or prepare his meal, make a sound. Over time, he will start to associate that sound with food. When he grows up, he'll fly straight to you whenever he hears it. That's exactly what happened with my lovely Peanut. He was so obsessed with me and my hands because of this simple training. He was a little messy the first time I fed him. I just needed a cloth and some warm water to clean him up. Even with a bit of a mess, he's such a good boy. Watching him eat and grow makes it all completely worth it. And here is the baby, already flying. They grow so fast, it's incredible to see. That's why today is the day I start building a winter house for the birds, right here inside this aviary. This small aviary inside the big aviary was more like a summer house. It did its job well, keeping the finches safe during the heat wave. But summer protection is one thing, and winter is something else. I don't think this setup can keep them safe from the cold. I don't want to risk it, so I need to start building a proper winter shelter now, before the real cold arrives. Quails are super funny. Just look at them picking up a worm. It's almost as big as they are. They peck at it, try to pull it, and somehow manage to eat it. In comparison to their tiny size, that worm looks huge. They really are amazing little birds, and I'm so happy I got them. And before I start making the first move in the aviary, I need to take care of something really quick. It's always like this. One small task leads to another. But that's part of the routine, and I don't mind. Because there is no more breeding, Pickles is finally ready to join the others. I just hope she won't be aggressive anymore. She is Peanut's sister. I hand-raised her at the same time as Peanut last year. She really is a great bird, just a little overprotective and confused. She's only 1 year old and this was her first breeding season. Sometimes females can overreact the first time just because they don't have the experience. I really hope next year she'll be calmer and get along better with the others. This is my kids' playhouse. Yes, I'm tearing it down to use it for my bird's house, but don't worry, I'll make them another one next year. This one was built from leftover materials we had lying around when we bought the house, plus some scraps from my very first wooden aviary in the garden. It was never really finished, so I think it's better to put it to good use now, for the aviary. These pallets will be the flooring. They're perfect. Raised from the ground, and 2 of them side by side make just the right size. Not too big, not too small, exactly what my birds need. Everything will be covered and insulated really well to protect them from the cold. I already ordered the main materials, just waiting for them to arrive. In the meantime, I'm finishing all the preparations and getting every tool and piece I'll need ready. So when the materials come, it's just assembly, and the new birdhouse will be ready to use. And yes, I'll need to get a new power source for the aviary, so there will be proper heating inside. I don't want to take any risks. Nights can get really cold here. In January, it can drop to at least minus 14 degrees Celsius. If I had to stay inside without heating, I know I would freeze. That's why everything has to be perfect. I'm even thinking about adding a small window, just to make it more complete and comfortable. Guess who's loud and hungry today? His crop looks a little swollen because there's some air inside, but nothing alarming right now that would need a vet. Air in a baby budgie's crop usually comes from bubbles in the food, swallowing a bit during feeding if the angle isn't perfect, or even from spoon feeding. A small bubble is usually harmless and will pass, but I'll keep an eye on him. If the crop doesn't empty, starts to smell sour, or he seems weak, that's when it could mean infection and need a vet. To help prevent it, I always try to feed him upright at about a 45-degree angle. Mix the formula gently without bubbles, and there is a technique to release the air by gently massaging the crop. I've even noticed that in the nest, when females feed their chicks, sometimes a little air gets trapped inside too. It's not that I'm completely relaxed about it. Every time I see air in the crop, I feel uncomfortable and a bit worried. But so far, everything has always turned out fine. The only exception was once with Bubbles, when I had to step in and clean his crop because of the air. but that's only something I do in extreme situations. This is my wife feeding the chick for the first time. It's not that she doesn't want to, she's just super nervous. It's a training day for her because tomorrow I'm leaving for a hike on one of my favorite mountains and I can't miss it this year. There's no one to feed the baby except my lovely wife. The most important thing is the food. It should not be too thick or too watery. She likes to compare it to making pancakes, not too solid, not too runny. Temperature is her main concern because the food can get cold quickly, but if it's too hot, it could burn the baby chick's crop. So there's no pressure at all, just careful and gentle. On top of that, she's helping me with the materials that just arrived for the aviary. Best wife ever. With the proper feeding angle corrected, she's all set and ready for tomorrow to take care of the little one for the first time. It's a huge responsibility holding a tiny life in your hands. I remember when I first started hand feeding, but it's easier to understand just how much depends on you. You know 100% of their life is in your hands, so you have to give your absolute best. But there's also other important work in this tiny home of the baby budgie. It needs to be cleaned and the bedding replaced. I'm using amazing cat bio-organic litter that absorbs all liquids and dirt, but even a tiny budgie can make it messy very quickly. The smell is minimal, but hygiene is crucial for such a small, delicate bird. I carefully remove any soiled litter and replace it with fresh, clean material, making sure the surface is soft and comfortable for the baby. I dampen a piece of tissue with warm water and softly wipe the baby budgie's face. It's a gentle way to clean him after feeding and keep him comfortable, while also checking that everything looks healthy. The tissue dampened with warm water is very soft and gentle on the baby budgie, perfect for wiping away any crusty food stuck to his tiny pin feathers. And yes, he pooped on me, but that's a good sign. His digestive system is working perfectly. It's 6 in the morning. Before leaving, I fed the baby budgie, and now I'm starting a 14-kilometer hike over beautiful Zelengora. It's my first time here. Personally, I enjoy forests more, but in autumn, this is an amazing hike. Zelengora has been on my bucket list for a long time, but I never had the chance to come. Partly because the road is pretty rough for a personal car. Zelengora is different from other mountains in Bosnia. It's one of the last truly wild places left in the country. Unlike popular peaks, it doesn't have big tourist facilities or crowded trails. When you're here, you're exploring nature on its own terms. Right now in autumn, the hills are covered with wild blueberries and they're all red. And the hills look completely different from the rest of the year. And here's a bee, right next to one of the peaks at 2014 meters above sea level. Amazing. Just imagine the honey this little bee is making. And late at night I returned, and my wife did an amazing job. After just a quick lesson, she had already mastered hand feeding the baby budgie. Thank you members for your amazing support. It means so much to share these moments with you. See you in the next video.